How to choose fresh meat. We determine the color, smell, and elasticity. When choosing meat, it is better to play it safe. How to feel steaks, sniff minced meat, and study the compositions in the Guide to the Quality of Meat Products. How to check the freshness of meat in the store. In stores, the product is already packaged, so it is difficult to evaluate it, except externally. Pay attention to 3 indicators. Label. The label will tell a lot, so first of all we check the expiration dates and the composition. It must be clean, without additives, dyes and preservatives. Package. Tightness is a guarantee of quality. If it is violated, even with the current expiration date, the product may be damaged. Are there any smudges inside the container or bag? Is there a lot of moisture? If there is, then the meat has released juice due to a violation of the integrity of the package or improper storage. It is better not to take such a product. Color. What kind of meat? High-quality pork is white-pink, beef is rich red, lamb is red-brown. The color also depends on the age of the animal. The palette ranges from light red to maroon. Brown meat speaks of the advanced age of the animal and staleness. Refuse to buy meat with a gray-green tint and extensive dark spots. Stains appear when the product is left for more than a day at room temperature. Color. What kind of meat? High-quality pork is white-pink, beef is rich red, lamb is red-brown. The color also depends on the age of the animal. The palette ranges from light red to maroon. Brown meat speaks of the advanced age of the animal and staleness. Refuse to buy meat with a gray-green tint and extensive dark spots. Stains appear when the product is left for more than a day at room temperature. Please note, the fat on the meat can be both light and dark, but in no case bright yellow or brown. Fat of an unusual color is found in sick infected animals. How to check the freshness of meat at home. When the meat is bought, all the senses will help us. We are acting according to the plan. We study the appearance. Good meat is smooth and slightly moist, almost dry. The piece should not be covered with slime, and there should be no moisture on the surface of the fat. Quality meat should not stick to your hands. Make a small incision in the bran and press down. From fresh meat, transparent scarlet juice will appear, and from stale meat, cloudy. We listen to the smell. Smell is subjective. However, fresh meat smells only of meat. Its smell is neutral, without sharp aromas, not bitter and not sour. Putrid odors should alert. If you smell stale meat, the product has begun to deteriorate or is already spoiled and may be hazardous to health. You cannot use it, even if washed or heavily fried. Testing elasticity. Fresh produce must be firm. Approximately the density of the fleshy part of your palm under the thumb. Meat that has lain longer than the due date loses its structure due to the destruction of the fibers and becomes viscous or soft. Make sure that the meat is fresh. Put the purchased cut on a flat surface and press with your finger. Fresh meat will quickly restore its shape, and there will be no dents at all. On a stale or stale pit, it practically does not level out and can be filled with liquid. And if you cook stale, won't the microbes die? Heat treatment kills most microorganisms, but this does not mean that they can be eaten. Some percentage remains, which means that surviving bacteria can lead to poisoning and disease. Stale meat is especially dangerous for dishes that are only briefly fried on both sides. Don't do it. How to choose fresh minced meat. In cooked minced meat, there should be at least 60% of muscle tissue. The product should be homogeneous, without bones, cartilage, tendons, coarse connective tissue and blood clots, and should not have foreign odors, like whole meat. The color of minced meat depends on the type of meat and the percentage of fat. For example, the more beef in it, the brighter the color, and the more pork, the paler. The same with fat. The high content of fat brightens the minced meat. It is important that the color is uniform. As a result of improper storage, minced meat, whether it is packaged or not, changes its color. Such products are already spoiled and should not be eaten in any case. Pay attention to the packaging of minced meat. It must be intact, and the pan on which the meat lies is clean and dry. Where to buy fresh meat? We do not recommend buying meat at street stalls, from cars or along roads. As a rule, such sellers do not have regulatory documents confirming the origin of the meat and the health of the animal before slaughter. This means that there is a danger of buying the meat of a sick or fallen animal, which, in turn, is fraught with infectious diseases and parasitic diseases. Don't put your health at risk. Buy meat from stores or markets where quality control is carried out. Tip 1. The market, not the store. Meat is not yogurt or biscuits in standard packaging, which you can pick up from the supermarket shelf without looking. If you want to buy good meat, it is best to go to the market where it is easier to choose and the quality is often higher. Another reason not to buy meat in stores is the various dishonest tricks that are sometimes used to make the meat look more appetizing and weigh more. It's not that they don't do this in the market, but here you can at least look the seller in the eye. Tip 2. Personal butcher. Those of us who have not embarked on the path of vegetarianism eat meat more or less regularly. The best thing you can do in this situation is to get your butcher who will know you by sight, offer the best cuts, give valuable advice and order meat for you in case it is not available now. Choose a butcher who is humanly pleasing to you and who sells decent goods, and do not forget to exchange at least a couple of words with him with each purchase. The rest is a matter of patience and personal contact. Tip 3. Learn color. A butcher is a butcher, but it doesn't hurt to understand meat on your own either. The color of meat is one of the main signs of its freshness. Good beef should be confidently red, pork should be pinkish, veal is similar to pork, but more pink, lamb is similar to beef, but darker and more saturated. Tip 4. Check the surface. A thin pale pink or pale red crust from the drying of meat is a completely normal phenomenon, but there should not be any extraneous shades or spots on the meat. There should be no mucus either. If you put your hand on fresh meat, it will remain almost dry. Tip 5. Take it easy. As with fish, smell is another surefire guide to determining the quality of a product. We are predators, and the barely perceptible fresh smell of good meat is pleasant for us. For example, beef should smell in such a way that you want to immediately turn it into tartar steak or carpaccio. A distinct and pleasant smell suggests that this meat is no longer the first or even the second freshness, and you should not buy it in any case. The old, proven way to sniff a piece of meat from the inside is to pierce it with a heated knife. Tip 6. Study fat. Fat, even if you intend to cut it off and throw it away, can tell a lot by its appearance. Firstly, it must be white or creamy in the case of lamb. Secondly, it must have the right consistency. Beef must crumble, lamb, on the contrary, be quite dense, and thirdly, it must not have an unpleasant or rancid smell. Well, if you want to buy not only fresh, but also high-quality meat, pay attention to its marbling. On a cut of really good meat, you can see that fat is dispersed over its entire surface. Tip 7. The test for elasticity. The same as with fish, fresh meat springs when pressed and the hole that you left with your finger is immediately smoothed out. Tip 8. Buy frozen. When buying frozen meat, pay attention to the sound it makes when tapped, the smooth cut, the bright color that appears when you put your finger on it. Defrost the meat carefully, the longer the better, for example in the refrigerator, and if it has been frozen properly, then cooked will be almost indistinguishable from chilled. Tip 9. Deceit cuts. When buying this or that cut, it is good to know in what place of the carcass of the animal it is located and how many bones are in it. With this knowledge, you will not overpay for bones and will be able to correctly calculate the number of servings. Thank you for watching our videos. We hope you found them informative and engaging. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to our channel to stay up to date with our latest uploads. Don't forget to hit the like button and share with your friends and family so they can also benefit from the information we provide. Your support means a lot to us.